Chile isn't just a country, it's a geological fever dream. Imagine a strip of land so narrow it's a miracle it exists, squeezed between the world's most formidable mountains and its deepest ocean. This is a place of impossible paradoxes. Here, we don't just observe the stars. We use the driest desert on Earth as a portal to the beginning of time. We don't just survive earthquakes. We build our cathedrals upon them. From the haunting silence of the Moai to the defiant spirit of the Mapuche, we're not here to sightsee. We're here to decode the DNA of resilience. Welcome to Chile, the end of the world, where every limit is just a starting line. The Atacama Desert, a Martian symphony on Earth. When you first step into the Atacama, dry stops being a weather report and starts being a spiritual state. This isn't just a lack of rain, it's an ancient, profound silence. Some spots here haven't seen a drop of water in 400 years. The Earth is so stripped of biology that NASA uses these salt-crusted craters to test Mars rovers. Walking through the Valle de la Luna, you aren't just in a desert, you're on a different planet. It's a landscape of jagged rock and violet shadows where geology doesn't just speak, it screams. But the real magic happens when the sun drops. Because the air is bone dry and the altitude is high, the sky here is the clearest on the planet. The Milky Way doesn't just twinkle in the Atacama, it roars. It's so bright, it casts shadows on the desert floor. This is why the world's most powerful eyes, the ALMA telescopes, are perched here, eavesdropping on the birth of galaxies. There's a haunting humility in standing between the oldest rocks on Earth and the oldest light in the universe. Yet even in this void, the human heart beats. The Atacameño people have called this hyper-arid plateau home for millennia. Long before billion-dollar satellites arrived, they were reading dark constellations, finding meaning in the black voids between the stars. They learned to farm where rain is a myth, surviving on a deep ancestral reverence for the Pachamama. They are the living proof that life doesn't just endure in the extremes, it belongs there. If you found yourself in a place where the earth was silent and the stars were deafening, what is the one question you would ask the universe? As we leave the sun-scorched plains of the north, the air begins to sharpen, and the red dust gives way to the jagged blue cathedrals of the deep south. Patagonia and Torres del Paine, the last wild frontier. Leaving the north, we drop to the bottom of the map, where the world feels unfinished. Patagonia isn't a destination, it's a myth made of ice and granite. This is a land shaped by the roaring 40s, winds so violent they can bend trees into permanent boughs. At its heart stands Torres del Paine, where jagged stone pillars tear into a sky that can turn from calm blue to a lethal storm in 60 seconds. Here, nature doesn't just exist, it dominates. The sheer scale makes you feel small, but in the best way, it connects you to something primordial. The souls who inhabit this wilderness are as rugged as the rocks. These are the gauchos, the legendary cowboys of the South. Watching a gaucho herd sheep across the windswept pampas is like watching a dying art form in real time. Their faces are topographical maps etched by the cold and weathered by the sun. They live in a constant, silent dialogue with the elements. To them, solitude isn't loneliness, it's a choice. In a place where only the health of the herd and the warmth of the fire matter, these people prove that the human heart can find a home anywhere, even at the edge of the world. As the wind carries the scent of ancient glaciers away, we turn our gaze toward the horizon, where the Pacific Ocean hides a secret that has baffled humanity for centuries. Easter Island, Rapa Nui, the mystery of the Moa. Imagine a speck of volcanic rock, so isolated the nearest neighbor is over 1,000 miles of empty ocean away. This is Rapa Nui. Scattered across its rolling hills are nearly 900 moai, monolithic stone giants standing as silent sentinels. These aren't just relics, they're the living faces of ancestors, carved with an obsessive precision that defies the tools of their time. The ultimate riddle remains: how did a prehistoric society move these multi-ton titans across miles of rugged terrain without wheels, pulleys, or beasts of burden? But Rapa Nui is more than an engineering puzzle. It's a story of survival. The people here are descendants of master navigators who used only the stars to find this dot in the Pacific. Their history is a haunting cycle of environmental collapse and spectacular rebirth. Today's Rapa Nui aren't just caretakers of ruins. They are warriors reclaiming their language and their narrative. To walk among the moai at sunset is to feel the weight of a civilization that looked over the edge of extinction and decided to stay. Notice how the statues look inland, their backs to the sea, as if they are still guarding the very people who refuse to let their story die. If you were part of a civilization that decided to leave a permanent mark on the earth, what value or message would you want your statue to represent for the people of the future? Leaving the echoes of the Pacific behind, we head back to the mainland, where the rugged peaks of the Andes create a dramatic backdrop for a city caught between its colonial ghosts and a glass and steel future. Santiago, a metropolis in the shadow of giants. Santiago is a city of layers. On a clear day, after a winter rain has washed the smog away, the Andes Mountains appear so close you feel as though you could reach out and touch the snow-capped peaks from a skyscraper balcony. This is the heartbeat of Chile, a bustling metropolis where the frantic energy of 21st century commerce meets the slow, traditional rhythms of South American life. It is a city of contrasts, where sleek, modern districts like Sanhattan sit just a few miles away from historic neighborhoods where old men played chess in the shade of century-old trees. To truly understand Santiago, you have to lose yourself in its street life. You have to sit in a café con piernas, wander through the chaotic aisles of the Mercado Central, or watch the street performers in the Plaza de Armas. There is a palpable tension here between the old and the new. You see it in the architecture, where neoclassical cathedrals are reflected in the mirrored windows of office towers. This city has seen revolutions, dictatorships, and economic miracles. It is a place that is constantly reinventing itself, yet it never loses that fundamental Chilean identity, a mix of cosmopolitan ambition and a deep, mountain-bred stoicism. As we descend from the high rises of the capital, the urban grit softens into a kaleidoscope of color on the hills of the coast. Valparaiso, the muse of the Pacific. If Santiago is the brain of Chile, Valparaiso is its soul. Messy, poetic, and utterly vibrant. This jewel of the Pacific is a labyrinth of 42 hills, each covered in a chaotic patchwork of brightly colored houses and world-class street art. There are no straight lines in Valparaiso. To get around, you rely on century-old ascensores, rickety wooden elevators that groan as they pull you up the steep inclines. It is a city that feels like a living gallery, where every crumbling wall is a canvas for a mural that tells a story of social struggle, naval history, or whimsical fantasy. This was the favorite home of the poet Pablo Neruda, and you can see why. The city has a dirty beauty that inspires creativity. It's a place for sailors, dreamers, and revolutionaries. The graffiti here isn't vandalism, it is a conversation. It's the way the city speaks back to power and celebrates its identity as a gritty, proud port town. Walking through the narrow alleys of Cerro Alegre or Cerro Concepcion, you realize that Valparaiso doesn't care about being perfect. It cares about being authentic. It is a city that has survived fires, earthquakes, and economic decline, yet it remains one of the most culturally magnetic places on the continent. The Mapuche culture, the undying spirit of the land. To talk about Chile without talking about the Mapuche is to tell a story with its heart missing. The Mapuche are the people of the earth, the largest indigenous group in the country, and their history is a testament to an almost supernatural defiance. Unlike many other civilizations in the Americas, the Mapuche were never fully conquered by the Spanish Empire. They fought a bloody 300-year war to maintain their sovereignty. Even today, they remain the moral and spiritual backbone of the Chilean wilderness. Their relationship with the land isn't one of ownership, but of kinship. For a Mapuche, a mountain isn't just a pile of rock, it is a sacred ancestor. When you enter a Mapuche community, the air feels different. It smells of wood smoke and canelo leaves. You might see the Machi, the spiritual leader and healer, performing a ceremony with a kultron, a sacred drum whose rhythmic beat represents the heartbeat of the universe. But this isn't a museum exhibit. It is a living, breathing struggle. Today, the Mapuche are at the forefront of a complex battle for land rights and cultural recognition. They are navigating the treacherous waters of modernization while trying to protect the ancient forests and rivers that define their soul. Understanding Chile means acknowledging this friction, the tension between a developing nation and an ancient people who refuse to let their language and traditions be swallowed by the tide of history. As we move from the sacred silence of the southern forests back toward the northern heat, the quiet reverence of the Mapuche gives way to a deafening explosion of color and sound. La Tirana, a carnival of faith and fire. In the middle of the parched Atacama Desert, in a tiny town that seems forgotten by time for most of the year, one of the most intense spectacles in South America erupts every July. This is the Fiesta de la Tirana. It is a religious festival, yes, but it looks more like a psychedelic dream. Thousands of dancers descend upon the town, wearing massive, grotesque masks of devils and monsters, draped in sequins and vibrant silks. For several days and nights, the desert air is thick with the sound of brass bands and the rhythmic thumping of boots on the dusty ground. This is where the official religion of the Spanish conquerors collided with the ancient myths of the Andes, creating something entirely new. The dancers aren't just performing, they are in a trance of devotion. They believe that by dancing until they collapse, they are purging their sins and honoring the Virgin of El Carmen. There is an incredible, raw, cinematic power in seeing a devil kneel in prayer before an altar. It captures the beautiful, messy complexity of the Chilean psyche, a culture that is deeply traditional, yet wildly expressive. A people who find their greatest joy in the middle of the world's harshest landscape. If you had to express your deepest beliefs through a dance instead of words, would your rhythm be one of celebration or one of fierce struggle? The energy of the dance floor eventually fades, but the geography that birthed it remains, a narrow strip of land that defies every law of spatial logic. The longest country, a world contained in a sliver. It is hard to wrap your head around the sheer length of Chile. It is a country that spans over 2,600 miles from north to south, yet it is rarely wider than 150 miles. If you were to lay Chile across the United States, it would stretch from New York City to San Francisco and keep going into the Pacific. This unique geography means that Chile isn't just one country, it's a collection of worlds. In a single journey, you can experience the driest desert on Earth, Mediterranean valleys, temperate rainforests, alpine tundras, and massive fjords. It is a vertical laboratory of climate and life. This long and narrow identity has a profound effect on the way people live. In the north, life is dictated by the mine and the sun. In the central valleys, it's about the harvest and the hearth. In the south, it's about the sea and the storm. Yet, Despite these vast distances and differing climates, there is a singular Chilean thread that ties them all together. Whether you are a fisherman in Arica or a scientist in Antarctica, you share the same narrow corridor between the mountains and the sea. This geography has forced Chileans to look inward and toward each other, creating a national bond that is as long and unbreakable as the land itself. But even a land this rugged has a softer side, found in the rolling green hills where the earth yields its most famous liquid treasure. Chilean wine, the poetry of the soil. In the central heartland of Chile, the ruggedness of the Andes softens into the fertile, sun-drenched valleys of Maipo, Colchagua, and Casablanca. This is wine country. Chile has become a global titan of viticulture, not just because of the quantity it produces, but because of the honesty of its grapes. Sheltered by the mountains to the east and the cold Humboldt Current to the west, these valleys are a natural fortress against pests and diseases. This isolation allowed Chile to save the Carmenere grape, a variety that was thought to be extinct in its native France, only to be rediscovered hiding in Chilean vineyards decades later. To walk through a Chilean vineyard during the Vendimia, the harvest festival, is to witness a sacred ritual. It's not just about the chemistry of fermentation. It's about the terroir, the idea that the wine carries the literal flavor of the soil, the mountain air, and the Pacific breeze. The winemakers here talk about their vines like they are members of the family. There is a deep, quiet pride in producing something that represents the best of the earth. When you share a glass of Cabernet or Carmenere with a local farmer, you aren't just drinking wine. You are tasting the history of a land that has spent centuries perfecting the art of turning sunlight into liquid poetry. As the sun sets over the vineyards, we arrive at the most important part of the journey. Not the places we've seen, but the people who call them home. The Chilean spirit, resilience in the DNA. We finish our journey where it truly began, with the people. If you spend enough time in Chile, you notice something about the people. They aren't loud or flashy. They are often described as sobrio, sober, reserved, even a bit melancholic. But beneath that quiet exterior lies a resilience that is almost frightening in its strength. This is a nation that has been forged in the fire of adversity. Chile is one of the most seismically active places on Earth. Every Chilean has a story about where they were during the Big One. They have survived brutal dictatorships, economic collapses, and the isolation of being at the end of the world. This history has created a unique national character. Chileans don't panic when the earth shakes. They simply grab the wine bottle so it doesn't fall off the table and wait for it to pass. There is a grit here, a stoicism that is balanced by a sudden, surprising warmth. They are a people of the middle, caught between the heights of the Andes and the depths of the sea, between a painful past and a hopeful future. To know a Chilean is to know someone who has learned how to find beauty in the rubble and poetry in the storm. They are the living proof that a country's greatest resource isn't its copper or its wine, but the unshakable spirit of its people. Conclusion. After seeing a land that is constantly reshaped by fire, ice, and tremors, do you believe that struggle is what makes a culture truly beautiful? Or is beauty what gives us the strength to endure the struggle? Chile remains an enigma, a sliver of land at the edge of the map that contains the entire world within its borders. It is a place that challenges you to look closer, to listen to the silence of the desert, and to find the rhythm in the earthquake. It is, quite simply, the end of the world and the beginning of everything else.